That down. Let's move on to this, shall we? Of course, Penguin had its finale the other night. The show has been nothing short of spectacular. The only question remaining was, could they nail the landing? I was okay if they didn't because the show had already been so good, but they did. They nailed the landing. They crushed it. And then the only question left is, well, what did the viewership do? Because look, a lot of these shows, what happens is you get a certain number of people who watch the premiere. And then with a lot of them, okay, it's not for everybody. Some people stay on board with it. And then slowly the viewership goes down, maybe takes a little bit of a hike during the finale. But Penguin has week over week, much like Agatha did, week over week, the viewership got bigger and bigger and bigger. As word of mouth started to spread, people got excited about it. They talked about it. Again, this is why weekly releases of shows are always better than just dumping entire seasons at once. Word of mouth spread around, and more and more and more people started to jump on board with it. And now, according to Variety, the Penguin ended up 50% higher than the people who watched the premiere. It says this: the Penguin continued its streak of viewership growth on the finale episode on Sunday night. Per HBO, the final episode of the Batman spin-off series pulled in 2.1 million viewers across all platforms, marking yet another series high in viewership. Sunday's viewership figure is up approximately 50% from episode 1 of the series. The first episode has now pulled in nearly 17 million viewers since it debuted on September 19th. The show remains the most watched current HBO Max title debut season globally, behind only House of the Dragon and The Last of Us. So it pulled off one of those things that every television showrunner dreams of happening. Having your viewership just go up and up and up and up and up as it goes. Again, doesn't happen often. We've seen on Disney Plus, for example, shows like Obi-Wan debut really high, and then gradually over the season, it drops. Mandalorian season 3 debuted not all that high compared to the other season, but then it dropped. Ahsoka debuted for pretty high, dropped and dropped and dropped. The Acolyte had a pretty decent debut, but the viewership dropped and dropped and dropped. And then along came Agatha. The same thing happened with Secret Invasion. Debut was pretty good, and then just lost people as it went on. But then along came Agatha. Agatha comes, gets an all right, respectable debut, but then the audience goes up on episode 2. Then it goes up, or on episode 3, I should say. Then it goes up again in episode 4. Then it went up again on episode 5. And then it ended with about 50% of a bigger audience than what it started with. It doesn't happen a lot. Penguin just pulled it off. And now with Matt Reeves talking about the possibility of a Penguin 2, which you were starting to allude to, Chris, about when you have this kind of success, it's difficult to ignore that when the audience clearly got on board and clearly got behind it and supported it, and more audiences jumped on. So, Chris, now that the season's over and we see that it peaked so high, what is it about Penguin that had the audience returning again and again, that attracted new audience members? And what ultimately do you think these numbers, if any influence, will have on whether or not a season 2 happens?
I mean, great storytelling is what all this comes down to. Really great storytelling. And I think that's what got most people in here, because what I couldn't get over was everyone over and over saying, I can't believe we're having a show this good and it's Batman characters. I can't believe we have a comic book show that's so great. Why can't you believe that?
Yeah, why is it so hard to believe?
Why is that so shocking? There's a reason why companies have been mining this IP for years. There's great stories here. And I feel like this goes to show, too, you can do really smart, really deep storytelling with this IP. You don't have to, dumb it down or kidify it or really hang on the capes and cows, which I love. I love that stuff. But there's real gritty, interesting storytelling that you can do with these characters without deviating from the source material all that much when you get down to it. It's just taking a very grounded approach to it. And I think that really kept people coming back. And I think the word of mouth on this one did too. Weekly releases also helped this tremendously. I was on the phone with Rob last night and we were talking about just like, there's so many things come out now that you talk about for maybe a week or two. And then if it didn't make a big cultural impact, it's dead. And
it doesn't have a chance to build an audience.
Exactly. And that's the real death, right? Is when no one mentions your name ever again. And with media, that is horrible. So Penguin has been able to captivate people for weeks and build up this momentum and get other people to watch and have folks go, oh, you haven't caught up with it yet? You absolutely have to watch this show. And it appeals to so many people. If you were a big Sopranos person, you love this, right? If you're a big Batman person, you love this. If you just like really great acting, you love this. It's so well done. It's so well executed. And I just think people finally went, yeah, I guess I'll give it a shot. And then stuck around because how can you not? This is so good. I can't wait to go home and watch this finale, even though thank you so much, chat. I know I said I didn't care, but now I care. You ruined shit. That's all right. It's my fault.
I mean, again, it's just there were like 4 different things in the finale that made me go, what? You know, and not to try to elicit the old WWE fan reaction to Stone Cold Steve Austin. But still, I was like going, what? Like I audibly out loud, like gasping at certain things that they did in the show, whether it's with Sophia or Vic or whatever. Oh, just so crazy.
Yeah.
So crazy and so good. And apparently we weren't the only ones because the audience kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, The Perfect Jean. So the colder season is here, and guess what? I am living in the perfect jean. These jeans are super stretchy, soft, and totally trick people into thinking I've got my life together. And I'm telling you this because I actually love them. These are absolutely, no questions asked, my favorite jeans that I have ever owned. And yes, the folks over at The Perfect Jean are paying me to say that, but it's still absolutely true. These are my favorite jeans ever. These jeans have enough stretch to accommodate Thanksgiving dinner and are comfy enough to wear all day watching Sunday football. Plus, even though they feel like sweatpants, they look good enough to be your go-to pants for date night. And listen, the Perfect Jean isn't even just pants. They've revolutionized t-shirts as well. The Perfect Tee has just enough stretch to hide that beer belly while accentuating your arms and chest for that flawless look. My guys, it's finally time to stop crushing your balls in uncomfortable jeans by going to theperfectjean.nyc. Our listeners get 15% off your first order, plus free shipping, free returns, and free exchanges when you use the code CAMPEA at checkout. That's 15% off for new customers at theperfectjean.nyc with the promo code Campea. And after you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support the John Campea Show and tell them we sent you. F your khakis and get the perfect jean. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about? Are you surprised to see the numbers that these things have got, that the audience just grew and grew and grew? Could it continue to do that if they do a season 2? We're heading into Batman 2. How big of a role do you think Penguin's going to have? Whatever you guys think about all this, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show Podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.